The hospital corridors were bathed in the golden light of dawn, their polished floors reflecting the hues of a new day. Around her, the shift was waking, like the city itself, with the world unfurling from night's embrace. In the ER reception, Hannah Parker sipped weak coffee, its steam mingling with the cool air, drifting through automatic doors. The phones began their ceaseless ringing, strings of alarms heralding the day's demands. Each ring a reminder of the world's relentless march, each call a new story of urgency and need. Hannah was a small lamp in this bustling place, her heart a beacon of prayer among chaos as names rolled through her mind, those whose stories she would meet today. She folded her hands, whispering a silent prayer. Lord of mercy, let none be forgotten, let their cries echo in your courts. In the silence, he speaks. The morning passed in a flurry of paperwork and urgent voices. A whirlwind of human pain and healing spun together. Hannah moved with practiced efficiency, yet unease tugged at her heart. The stories of strangers wrapped around her soul, their echoes a hum beneath her thoughts. In a brief lull, an unlikely oasis, she found herself alone, the reception area bathed in warm mid-morning light, the sun's rays like gentle fingers. The phone sat silent on her desk, a rare lullaby of quietness. She turned from the world's demands, feeling the sacred stillness, and leaned against the desk, eyes closing in a crisis prayer. Holy One, I feel so small. The weight of their stories is heavy. Guide me, help me see them as you do. In the stillness that followed, a gentle breeze shifted papers on her desk. As though God breathed into the room, Hannah opened her eyes to see sunlight catching on a small silver keychain, a gift from a patient in his time. It read, the letters gleaming softly, offering balm to her weary soul. The words nestled in her heart like a whispered promise, an assurance that time cradled her alongside the divine. The keychain shimmered with its own light, reflecting gentle illumination from the window. In that moment, the weight on her shoulders lifted slightly, the promise of God's timing wrapping around her like a reassurance. A small seed of peace began to unfurl. Courage to surrender. Dusk arrived with long shadows across hospital floors, casting stripes of darkness and light, windows glowing fiery orange as the sun descended. The noise of the day softened to a murmur, a gentle retiring note. As the hours waned, Hannah watched the last patients leave with tired smiles. Their burdens lightened, hope kindled anew. She took a deep breath, antiseptic scent mingling with the promise of evening's rest, a welcome friend at the end of a long day. In her heart a stirring, an invitation to surrender her own burdens, tightly held kneeling at the small chapel inside the hospital. Its dim light a soft embrace, she prayed the turning prayer, her heart bending towards faith. Shepherd of my soul, I lay down my striving. Fill me with your peace, that I may pour it out to others. A peace profound and gentle settled upon her, a sense of God's guidance almost tangible. It was a moment of clarity, understanding it was time to trust Him with the unseen and the unresolved. The air hummed with the sacred promise, a reminder she was not alone in this vast sea of human struggle and triumph. next morning, as dawn broke again, bathing the world in its first light, Hannah felt renewed strength, a lightness in her step as if she too was dawn's child. The symbolic keychain glinted in her coat pocket, a reminder of God's faithful whisper in the quiet moments, a talisman against the pressing tides of life. In a world of noise, she discovered the power of silence, a silence speaking louder than any clamor. Her prayers, once small cries, now felt like sacred echoes of a conversation with the divine, each word a step across an eternal bridge. She walked through halls with renewed vigor, every face she encountered a testament to the divine tapestry where each thread was held by hands greater than hers.
Lord of mercy, in silence you speak. Guide my heart and steady my hands. Let your presence be my peace, and your whisper the courage I need.
The hospital night held a sacred quiet, rain tapping softly against the large, glazed windows, tracing languid rivulets in the glow of the distant street lights. The polished floor mirrored faint reflections of those passing by, a subtle dance of light and shadow. Alex sat slumped in a chair, face buried in his hands, the contours of his shoulders heavy with the weight of his world. His heart churned with a tempest of anxiety, a maelstrom of fear and uncertainty. Yet, the air around him carried a sterile hope, a promise of rebirth, echoing with the faint beeping of machines that stood as silent sentinels to life. Nearby, a warm lamp stood sentinel, casting a soft, gentle light over his turmoil. To Alex, it was a tender hand resting on his shoulder, offering a sliver of comfort in the engulfing shadows. He glanced at the lamp, seeking solace, took a deep breath and closed his eyes, retreating within himself to find peace. His heart whispered prayers, earnest and raw, a plea rising from the depths of his soul to the open heavens.
God, Lord of mercy, his heart cried, I feel lost and afraid, please guide me.
Across the hall, Nurse Sarah moved quietly, her gentle steps barely audible in the enveloping stillness. Her compassionate eyes met his, a silent acknowledgement of his struggle. Her presence, a soft assurance in the solitary vigil, silently reminding him that he was not alone. A gentle revelation, time unfurled with the rain's gentle serenade against the window panes. The clock's slow hands ticked in concert with Alex's anxious heartbeat, each second measured in breaths rather than time. A comforting memory emerged from the turbulent depths, a verse from Psalm 23, like a life preserver tossed into stormy waters. The lamp flickered slightly, its warm glow enveloping him in a cocoon of golden light. Within, Alex felt a divine whisper coursing through the tendrils of his troubled heart, softening and guiding him. He straightened in his seat, his breathing even, a realization dawning. The call to defend truth, but with kindness, was his path forward. He eyed his phone, its screen dark and foreboding. Yet courage blossomed in the faint reflection of his own eyes. He prepared for a momentous prayer, a conversation with God that would fortify his soul. Shepherd of my soul, I give you my fears, he whispered, his voice barely more than a breath, weaving faith and hope around his heart. Grant me courage to reconcile, to speak truth with love. Help me to reach out in humility. The atmosphere shifted imperceptibly, the air growing thick with promise and possibility. As Sarah passed by with a soft smile, it was a reminder of unseen acts of grace fluttering just beyond sight, ready to alight in their own time. With courage as his armor, Alex dialed a number he'd long avoided, his fingers lingering over each digit, embedding them with silent prayers. The ring resonated in his ear, each tone matching the anxious rhythm of his heart. The phone's cool metal served as an anchor, grounding him as he prepared to step out in faith. Hey, it's me, he began softly, his voice trembling yet sincere, each word a digital prayer sent across the silent waves. I'm sorry for the silence, I want to make things right. The unfolding conversation held its challenges, terrain rough and uncertain. Yet words were carefully weighed, each syllable laying a stone in the rebuilding of a long crumbled bridge. As the call concluded, Alex felt a lightness unfurl within him, a burden lifted by grace, freeing him from the chains he'd carried for too long. Outside, the rain softened to whisper, as if blessing the renewed bond in its gentle cadence. In the warm, forgiving glow of the lamp, Alex felt transformed by prayer. Hope and love rekindled in the silent vigil of the night. For guiding my steps, help me to carry your light into the world, to defend truth, but with the grace of kindness, keep my heart